Welcome to the Speed Summit on the Programming the Pillars Academics topic. My name is Eileen Merberg. I'm Executive Director of Alpha Lambda Delta, and helping out tonight are two fabulous people. Christine, you want to introduce yourself?
Good evening, everyone. Christine Cohn. I am the Alpha Lambda Delta Headquarters Director of Operations.
Yes, indeed. And Lauren Huffman.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Lauren Huffman. I'm the chapter advisor for the Kent State chapter in Northeast Ohio, and I also work with ALD headquarters.
Awesome. What I've learned during these speed summits is that a lot of you like to stay muted, but you're welcome to unmute and introduce yourselves. But why don't we do that in chat? So if everybody could just say hey in chat, what chapter are you from? What school? So introduce yourselves in chat. That would be fabulous, so we can just get a sense of what schools you're from in case we know of particular academic programming on that campus. We can sort of chime in about that. So thanks so much. Allison getting it going from IUPUI. Awesome. Okay, so let's just jump right in. First is the 5 pillars that I wanted to just review. Is there anyone here that has gone to one of our summits already, the ALD 101 summit? Did anybody go to that? I'm not recognizing names. So what I'm going to do is just very quickly talk about the 5 pillars, and then I'm going to skip over the first one, which is academics, and then we'll come back and address that one, just to give you a sense of, you know, what are the pillars for, what is it all about. The ALD 101 Speed Summit, which we will have put on our website for the recording. Actually, there are more offerings coming up in a couple of weeks if you want to catch a 101 Speed Summit. But what I do for those is talk about the 5 pillars. So the reason we talk about 5 pillars is it just gives a sense of what chapters can be doing. There are no requirements that you have to program for all the 5 pillars. And there's no requirements that it has to be 2 of these and 3 of these or 10 a year or 10 a month. It's whatever the chapter wants to do, whatever you have energy to do, whatever your members will support. But these 5 pillars, I think, will give you a good overview of the kinds of things that a typical chapter does on their campus. So the first one is academics, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The second one is scholarships. So that's another summit coming up. We want you all to be going after the money, finding scholarship money, getting money, winning money. So there are all sorts of programs your chapters could be doing on your campus that encourage your members to identify scholarships, apply for scholarships, and win scholarships. Not only Alpha Lambda Delta scholarships, but there's millions of dollars given away in scholarships every year. And we want Alpha Lambda Delta to be a resource for you to help you win those. So that's the second pillar. The third pillar is service. So pretty much most of our chapters are engaged in some sort of service. That's just another opportunity for a program you could offer. I'm going to assume you're all leaders in your chapter. You might have a service chair on your board. If you do, they should come to that Speed Summit on service. But whatever you're passionate about, it could be river cleanups and reading to kids and raking leaves for elderly and soup kitchens and anything you want. So service is one of our pillars for you to program around. The fourth one is career development. We want you to gain career readiness skills and leadership skills as members of Alpha Lambda Delta. And that's an opportunity for you to offer programs, events, meetings, bring a speaker in to talk about resume writing. Rent one of those booths where you can, everybody can get their headshot taken for their LinkedIn profile, a photography booth. Anything to do with leadership and career development, you could be offering your members on campus. And last but not least is belonging, what we call belonging, and we mean social activities. So your Alpha Lambda Delta chapter on your campus doesn't always have to be serious, or it doesn't always have to cover a topic. Y'all should just be getting together with your members on campus for nothing more than to just hang out, meet each other, have game night. That's a really popular one, is game night. Always have food. Go to a movie together, go on a hike, anything that is social and fun, watch a movie. Helping your members feel like they belong in the organization, they belong at your campus, they're making friends, they're making connections. Super important. So those are the 5 pillars. If you missed the 101, I go into them more in depth during the 101 session. Okay, so that first one is academics, and that's the topic for tonight or today. Is we are an academic honor society. That's the number one part of being in an academic honor society, is you got really good grades that allowed you to, that got you invited to join, and the reason that you joined this one is because you did really well your first semester or your first year, typically your first semester. So really what this is all about is helping you and your members maintain that. It's not required that you maintain a 3.5. You don't get kicked out of Alpha Lambda Delta if you drop below that cumulative. So some of you might have already done that. Some of you might do that in the future. That's okay. We don't want a lot of stress about keeping up the GPA, but it could be a goal, and you'll want to offer events and meetings and gatherings on your campus that support academic success. So the purpose of the summit today is to just talk about some ideas for what that could be. And there are a lot. There's a ton of things you could be doing to promote academic success. So one of the first things I want to do is, we actually, in another summit that we offered, we had some students, your peers, a couple students from St. Anselm. I don't know if there's anyone from St. Anselm. Nope, I don't see that listed. From one of our chapters, they presented what they do to support academic success. And so it's just 7 minutes, and we recorded it. And so I'm going to just share just 7 minutes or so of that recording for their session. And then we're going to come back and then brainstorm some more ideas. All right. And I'm assuming this is all showing. One thing I wanted to mention is there's 2 students, and the first one's a little bit hard to hear. I think she just didn't have a great audio speaker or microphone. But then the second one you can hear, so you might have to turn it up.
Hi everyone, my name is Dominique, and we're presenting on academic initiatives.
And I'm Danielle Abdamore.
We use engagement through events, lectures, workshops, and final review sessions. So how do we coordinate these? In the past, we've connected with professors that we've had, and we've also coordinated events with our Academic Resource Center for tutoring on campus. And we also have hosted events with our Career Development Center. For other ways that we promote engagement is through social media by doing study tip Sundays. And these are posted by our social media committee weekly. So these are just some pictures from past lectures we've had. You can see that 2 of them were online, and then 1 was in person, which was really great. And we got like a lot of people at that event, so we had a full house at that one. So the first lecture Danielle and I ever hosted was a biology lecture with Dr. DeBruzzi. And this was one of Danielle's past professors that had offered to host our event, which was great. And so this one was in person, so we had about 15, 20 people there, as well as a few professors, which was awesome. And for our events, we like to use incentives. So for this one, Dr. DeBruzzi offered extra credit for biology students who attended our lecture. So next event we held, the original demonstration was canceled due to COVID. It was supposed to be an in-person event with Professor Denias, and a demonstration of an X-ray gun was supposed to be used. But since we had to cancel this for COVID, we turned it to an online lecture event, which also had a good turnout, about 9 people. And for this one, we used incentives of a raffle basket for those who came. Another lecture event we held was a chemistry lecture with Dr. Weirda, another chemistry professor we had had in the past. And this one was also on Zoom, so we only had about 7 attendees, but it was really great to see a bunch of people show up and learn more about this event. And so at this one, extra credit was also offered.
So now I'm going to talk a little bit about our finals review sessions. So those are basically a great way to wrap up the end of the semester. Dominique and I are both tutors for the Academic Resource Center on campus, so it makes it a lot easier for us to partner with the Academic Resource Center. And then we can review for finals with our students on respective topics that we normally tutor. Last year, it was a little bit difficult to get attendees to these Zoom sessions because we had just transitioned to online due to COVID. And I think everyone had just been like adjusting to the new pandemic. But in the past, when the review sessions have been in person, we've offered incentives like snacks, and more people tended to show up to those. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about our resume building workshop, which is an event we just hosted last March, actually. So this was held via Zoom, and we partnered with the Career Development Center. 10 people showed up, 10 people signed up, and we had 4 attendees. It was open to all students at St. A's, just as most of our events are. But this was a new type of event for us because in the past we focused more on like specific subjects, such as science. But this one was great because, you know, career building and resume building is focused to everybody on campus. And something we want to continue in the future is hosting events such as this, which apply to most other students. So here are just some pictures from the event. And this event was fun because it was interactive. So it wasn't just a lecture provided by the Career Development Center, but it also provided more of a discussion amongst the students. So we also do study tip Sundays, which Dominique touched on briefly in the beginning. So these tips are posted to our social media sites, and they help to provide students with within our chapter with better study habits. It basically encourages first-year success among students, since academics in college is often very different from high school. You know, it's a big transition. And it definitely helps to have guidance to further success in the classroom while also learning to navigate college. Some examples that you can see on the right are chunking material, developing a routine, and using the online resources that can be found within the library at our school. So who comes to our events? Well, first of all, participation from members in our ALD chapter is very important. So we offer raffle prizes at our events that are solely for our members, because we like to encourage that engagement among our members. But it is also very important to have support among our e-board. So we often always try to attend each other's events, which is a very supportive environment. And then events and lectures are also advertised to everybody on campus, no matter the major, since academic enrichment should be the goal for everybody. So specific to our ALD chapter is the academic enrichment chair position. And we basically head the committee. And so in the picture at the right, you can see Dominique, me, and then our president, Elizabeth Risk. And this was pre-COVID, of course, at one of our inductions. But Dominique and I are co-chairs of the committee, and we work together to plan events, host committee meetings, and advertise our events to the greater community in conjunction with our social media and advertising committee. So having this committee that is so specific to academics is so important because we can focus more on engagement and success while also making our ALD chapter known on campus.
Okay, so let me pause there. So a couple things about what they talked about, and then Lauren will put in some resources because I want to point out a couple things that they mentioned. Just by the way, that career one, the career development center, resume writing, that might fit a little bit better in that other pillar, but you can define whatever the pillars mean to you. But I always give the example of resume writing in the other pillar, but whatever works for you. But they're doing a couple things that are really popular among our chapters. So anything you can do during the finals time. So you usually, probably your university or college has finals week or whatever you call it. There's a time at the end of the semester when everyone's in final exams. So that's often actually a fun time to do some programs with your chapter. Some popular things include bagging up little bags of candy with maybe a motivational quote inside, or, you can do it and study hard and you've got this kind of thing, branded with ALD, and then you pass it out or give it away to students who are studying, or just be at a table to give out treats and stuff for students studying. Mints and things that are supposed to expand, help you study harder. I've heard that about peppermint. I don't know if it's true. Animals are a big thing, like pet therapy animals. If you have a local shelter, that's a popular event for chapters, is to coordinate with some local shelter to bring in some dogs or cats or whatever is leashed, or whatever your campus is allowed to do. And then again, so the idea there is it's a de-stressor. It helps relax students so that they can focus on their academics during finals. And I think those are the final things. And Lauren, chime in as a chapter advisor of Penn State does those. I'm going to mention the social media in a minute, but anything else during finals? Those are the popular ones. Yeah. So if you could put in the media kit link in chat. So the social media, so Study Tip Sunday is something that St. Anselm mentioned. Very popular series of posts you could do. It doesn't have to be Sundays. You can come up with your own, but like a weekly, if you do have an Instagram account or whatever social media you're using, just sort of some regular tips and tricks on doing well academically, study tips, things that help out. And one of the things that I would mention on that media kit, if you do click on that, maybe save that link. If you scroll all the way down on that page, nationalald.org/media kit, scroll all the way down, and there is a ton of content already created for you called Study Tip Sunday. If you want to do your own series and post something every Sunday, just take our content. You can customize it, you can make your own, but it's super easy to that's what it's there for on that media kit page, is to just take our posts and you repost them on your account. So I wanted to point that out. That's a popular activity. Okay, so I think we have, was there anything else? So given we have just 10 minutes to go, do we want to try small groups, or we wanted to get some discussion going on other ideas? So what are you currently doing to promote academic success? Does anybody want to share what your chapter is already doing that maybe others could find helpful or useful?
I can share. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep. Sure can. Thanks.
My name is Vanessa. I'm from the Tennessee State chapter. So one thing that we recently did was the Crocs and Chill event. So all students could come and wear Crocs, and we could all study and do stuff like that. We had music playing and snacks, and it was just a time for everybody to be able to do their work with their peers and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I remember that coming up on your Instagram account too. If you want to put a link to your Instagram account in chat, that would be great. Because I know you had a post open. Yeah, that seemed like a really cool event and looked like it was well attended as well. So good. Anybody else? What else are you doing, or what might you try this year to promote academics on your campus or with your chapter? There you go. Thanks, Vanessa.
One thing my university did was we had sorry, can you hear me?
Yep, sure can. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think my internet's going out. But one thing we did was we did midterm and final study tables. So we got a few tables together in the library where our members could sit, and we would sit together as a group and study the longer hours that the library would offer during finals week specifically. And then our school has like a midnight breakfast the week of finals week. So we all went to that together as well once the study tables were done.
Yeah, that's great. And I know, and Maureen just mentioned that too. So study groups, just you're not all the same major, but that's okay. It's just a social way. Get together, everybody bring their textbooks and their laptops and just hang out and study. And collaborate with your peer tutoring center if folks need help in particular topics. I totally forgot about the pancake breakfast. I used to work at a campus that did that once a year. It's a very popular event in higher ed across the country. Pancake breakfast, usually at midnight or 11 p.m. So go as a group to that. It's again a de-stressor for students during finals. So that's a great. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a popular one. The one I did at Buffalo State University had like 1,000 students who come to it. It was massive. It was a free breakfast, so of course they all came. That's awesome. Yeah, another thing. So if anybody else want to chime in, I could just rattle off a few more ideas. We want this to. What I would love in the next 7 minutes is that you have one thing that maybe a new thing that you could do that you don't already do with your chapter or for the university. So hopefully you've gotten some ideas. The other one, yeah, I think this came up earlier, is at all of your universities. I know Cal State Northridge, Birmingham, Alabama, Dickinson. I know that you all have some department on campus or some staff on campus that are really knowledgeable about study skills and testing strategies, whether it's your academic resource center, your tutoring center, academic advising, undergraduate academic affairs. There's somebody there that's probably a really good speaker on helping students do well. So invite them, have food, have pizza, invite them to some gathering, whether it's at night or a weekend or during the day, and have them come talk really specifically about just all the tips and tricks that are out there for doing well on tests and papers and that sort of thing. Because there are lots of things that do help students in terms of how to better approach testing. That someone there could speak to. A librarian, have a librarian come talk about research papers. So that's can be a tricky area for a lot of new students. They're not really sure what sources are credible and where they're supposed to find the book or the journal article and how they're supposed to write a research paper. It can be tricky waters for students. So bring someone in to help students navigate that. So basically, the point is use the resources at your university. They're chock full of people very knowledgeable who do this for a living and who want students to do well. One really basic workshop you could be offering to your members is time management. So it's not like specifically an academic skill necessarily, but it really is, because you're all balancing 12, 15, 19, 20 credits. That's 4, 5, 6 classes. It's a lot to manage. So just a really basic time management workshop might be a really cool thing that could be really helpful. What else? Any other ideas? There we go. Thank you. So we do have some award-winning chapters, and I think some of you folks here from award-winning chapters in the past. But to win an award, the best chapter award for ALD, you submit a scrapbook every year. And so we took a bunch of scrapbooks from those winning chapters and compiled some of their ideas of things that they do over the last 5 years into categories. So if you clicked on that chapter ideas link, at the very top is the academic thing, the academic topic. So you can sort of see some ideas from other chapters. And I'm trying to think of some examples of what those are. See if I didn't mention all of them. Let me see if this spurs any. What else that you're doing? Anything else that that you're doing or that you want to do? Can everybody name one thing in chat? This is all part of the participation prizes too, by the way. If you have one new idea, what would it be? If you could put that in chat, just so we can sort of see what you're thinking about, sort of one new thing that you could offer this coming year. Great. Yeah, Study Tip Sunday has been a really, you can see on our Instagram account, it's been very well received. We've gotten a lot of engagement on our Sunday. We do often weekly, every day we'll do something. Fun Fact Friday, Member Monday, Spotlight Saturday, but Sunday's always Study Tip. Yep, resume building, professional development, those are great for members. We'd like our members to get as much out of ALD as possible. So, okay, so that is our half hour